What is going on, NFL fans? We're going to do my first 1.0 mock draft of the 2024 off season. Free agency starts next week, so things are obviously going to change when we see what free agents go to what teams. But I want to do one free agency mock drafts for you guys. All right, so I'm not doing what necessarily I would do, but what I think these teams will do based on the tape that I've watched and the needs for each and every one of these NFL teams. With the first pick of the NFL draft, it seems to me, with all the tape that I've been watching, there are some red flags with this pick. The Bears are going to go with Caleb Williams. But it does make me a little bit nervous, guys. So he's got all the skills in the world, right? His footwork is a little suspect from time to time, but he's got killer arm strength. He's great out of structure. But the one thing that really concerns me about him is like his mental makeup. A lot of these players, to get to the next level, you got to really have it between the ears. And he doesn't want to throw at the combine. And his excuses were just BS. Let's be serious. They were complete trash, BS excuses. And then he doesn't want to have an agent. Okay, so not only does an agent work your deals on the field, but they can help you with them off the field. So you're the number one pick. Right, so how are you going to juggle being the number one pick, learning the playbook, learning your teammates, and then like all these sponsors coming after you for shoe deals and jersey deals and commercials and all this bullshit? When you're a big time prospect in the NFL, you need to have an agent. They help you book tons of deals on and off the field. To think that he's not going to, he's going to be the exception to the rule, the ego on him definitely concerns me. That's why I don't love him as a prospect. But I think the Bears see what's on tape, and they're going to take Caleb Williams. So now, the Washington Commanders are on the clock. Right? Dan Quinn's the new head coach. Cliff Kingsbury, who has worked with Kyler Murray in Arizona when he was the head coach there, and he worked with Patrick Mahomes in college. So people are like, a lot of people think Drake May is going to go here, but I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels, because Jaden Daniels has shown so much growth over his time in college. He's played like 5 years in college, right? And Drake May at UNC, they don't ask you to do a lot of NFL concepts at UNC. Let's be serious. So I think the Washington Commanders are going to take Jaden Daniels. And originally I thought next the New England Patriots should probably trade this pick. And they still might trade this pick. But if Drake May falls into their lap, I think they're going to roll the dice and pick Drake May. The way this board falls this year, it seems like I don't know if we're going to get that desperate team that's going to move up. So I'm going Drake May to the Patriots with the third pick in the NFL draft. And next, the easiest pick of the draft, Arizona Cardinals are going wide receiver. It's either Neighbors or Harrison Jr. I think they're going to go with Marvin Harrison Jr. Next on the clock is the Chargers. Harbaugh is now the coach there. He likes to build his team in the trenches. They could go Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, that tape is ridiculous, dude. He is like Travis Kelce 2.0, but he breaks more tackles. He's a stud. He's not a huge tight end. I think he's like 6'2", in that 225, 235 range. He's not that 6'4", 245 guy that's going to help run block too. They're going to split him out, but I don't think that Harbaugh is going to do that. I think he's going to build in the trenches and go with the absolute monster of Joe Alt. Just look at these specs, guys. 6'8", 322 pounds. He's only 21. He's going to get bigger. That's the scary part. Alt is going to be bigger. Boom. Joe Alt, no doubt about it, goes to the Chargers. And then the Giants. The Giants need a lot of help. The Giants in this 2024 draft could go absolutely anywhere. This team is in shambles. Saquon Barkley is walking. Daniel Jones is perpetually hurt. That offensive line is an absolute dumpster fire. But they're probably going to go with a generational talent, and I think that's what Malik Neighbors is. He's got great hands. He's great after the catch. He can make Daniel Jones a lot better, or whoever the hell the quarterback's going to be in New York. I think Neighbors you can't. How are they going to pass up on Neighbors? I don't think we're going to see a wide receiver at Harrison and Neighbors level for years to come. So they got to get while the getting's good. Then the Titans are on the clock. PFF says they need wide receivers, O-line, and D-backs. Looks like Derrick Henry's going to walk in free agency. So I think they go with the tackle from Penn State. I really, really do. Fashanu, he's a monster too. He's got great grades, getting better and better consistently each and every year. And he's a great pass blocker. And let's face it, guys, the NFL is a pass blocking league. And hopefully at the NFL level, he can get coached up a little bit and improve that run blocking. So that's why I'm going with Fashanu from Penn State to play either tackle position for the Titans. And then the Falcons. This Falcons is tough to draft for. And this is where my draft starts to get a little wonky, everybody. Desmond Ridder is not the guy. He's not the guy. And they got good weapons. Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson. They got a young core. So that's why I think they're going to go with the best quarterback available. And that, to me, is Bo Nix. Dude, look at his numbers, man. Look at all these PFF grades, all these games. No bad games at all. And look at that. 77% of his passes he's completed. The adjusted completion percentage, 85.5%. This dude is as accurate of a quarterback that I've ever seen come through the NFL draft. And I think the Falcons are going to roll the dice on him, dude. Maybe this is what I would do, as opposed to what the hell the Falcons will do. Because the Falcons seem like a team that always screws shit up. But draft Bo Nix and you will be thankful. Pass the Bijan in the flat. Run him out. And then you could Kyle Pitts up the seam. Kyle Pitts is a monster, dude. Bo Nix. Falcons, please take a quarterback. Desmond Ridder is trash. Bo Nix is your guy. Atlanta Falcons fans, let me know in the comments below. Do you like that pick? All right, then we move on to the Bears. They need a weapon for their new quarterback, Caleb Williams. Rome Odunze is probably who they're going to pick. But that doesn't go without a little bit of reservations. In the tape, Rome has a lot of trouble getting separation. And if he struggled to get separation in college, he might struggle to get separation in the NFL. He's got big, long arms, crazy catch radius. He's going to be a deep threat down the field. But, I don't know, those intermediate routes to move the change, he's not the best at. We'll see what happens. All right, number 10, we have the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers should be back and healthy. They got that elite defense. Where do they go? I was kind of bouncing around with names. They could go Brock Bowers and give Aaron Rodgers that outlet that he needs. That's a very, very, very possible pick there. But I think they're going to go with an offensive lineman. And I like, out of all the guys that are left, there's some guys that grade around him. But I like Fuaga from Oregon State. And I like, he's got a lot of experience the last 2 years. He run blocks 90, pass block 80. I mean, with this, the way the Jets are structured right now, I don't know if they want to have Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball 40, 45 times. So a guy with a 90 grade run blocking ability, that seems to be the guy for me. I like Fuaga to be the guy for number 10 and the New York Jets. The Minnesota Vikings are up next at pick 11, and the Minnesota Vikings could very well trade up for a quarterback if they don't bring Kirk Cousins back. We'll have to see what happens. They have those great wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. So a young quarterback having those weapons is going to make their transition a hell of a lot easier. So where do they go at number 11? I don't think it's offense. I think they're going to go the best defensive player in college football. There's not a lot of great top 10 guys. I picked all offensive so far. I think Byron Murphy is the guy. Look at the growth. Boom, boom, boom. Played more games. Consistency is what you want to see out of these young defensive players and the ability to get better. 21 years old, 6'1", 308. I mean, the height could be a little bit better, but I think his explosiveness is going to be very enticing to a team like the Minnesota Vikings. All right, now, Denver Broncos, number 12. I think they go quarterback here. I think they go quarterback. They just traded Judy to the Browns. What the? That is insane to me. For a 5th and a 6th round pick, that was a stupid ass move. He's on the last year of his contract, and I don't know if Judy's not happy with the coaches there. So maybe Sean Payton wants to bring his guys in. So that's why I think there's been a lot of rumblings about Sean Payton falling in love with J.J. McCarthy. So where there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm going J.J. McCarthy. And then next up, we have number 13. The Raiders, man. The Raiders could go anywhere. The Raiders could really go anywhere. But I think they're going to, I mean, how could you pass up on Cooper DeJean, the Iowa corner? We're moving on to number 14. The New Orleans Saints are on the clock. If you follow my content, you know I'm not the biggest Derek Carr guy. He's okay. He's got all the potential in the world, but for whatever reason, he's always complaining. His teammates don't really love him. But I think they can get a big weapon for him right here. One of my favorite players in the draft, Brock Bowers. If Brock Bowers is there for you at number 14, make the pick. Don't even think about it. Give Derek Carr another weapon, or whoever the hell else is going to be the quarterback if you want to take one later in the draft. Next up is one of the best cornerbacks in the draft for the Colts, picking at 15. Quinyon Mitchell. That cover grade at a 91 is exceptional. Obviously, he's not going to be the best run defender, but that's even really good for a corner at 76. The dude's super good. 2 over 90 grades the last 2 seasons. The dude, Quinyon Mitchell, at number 15 for the Colts is the way to go. All right, number 16 is on the clock. That is the Seattle Seahawks. They need help on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Offensive line, defensive line. I think they go the best tackle available. I think Fontenot is that guy for Seattle. All right, now we're going to move on to the number 17 pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars. They could go anywhere. The Jaguars really could honestly go anywhere. They need help at edge defender, in the interior offensive line, or they could go D-backs. They need a lot of help. I'm thinking Latu, the edge defender at UCLA, makes perfect sense for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The dude's a stud, man. 94 pass rush grade, OMG. They need to get pressure on the quarterback for sure. I love that pick for number 17. Latu, going at number 17 to Jacksonville. Then we go to the Bengals. The Bengals need offensive line help. Can someone in Cincinnati draft some talented offensive linemen for once ever? Because Joe Burrow gets hurt all the time because that offensive line is complete hot garbage. So they're going to bring in one of the best tackles in the draft, J.C. Latham. There's a lot of tackle help. He can move in at guard. He can play anywhere. He's going to probably be a day one starter, whether that be at guard or tackle. JC is going to the Bengals. Then the Rams, a very interesting draft for the Rams. I think they go with one of the most talented defensive players in the draft, Newton. He's a monster. He's a straight monster. Pair him up with Aaron Donald. That front line's going to be super sick. And the Pittsburgh Steelers. It says the Pittsburgh Steelers only need help at cornerback, linebacker, and D-back. That is a lie. They need help everywhere. They need a quarterback for sure. So I don't know where they're going to go, but Nate Wiggins falling to their lap at number 20. Tomlin loves his defense. I think that's where they go. There's not a lot of value. I think you could get a similar quarterback in the second round if you wanted to draft one. I like Wiggins to Pittsburgh. Then the Dolphins are on the clock at 21. Their center is one of the worst centers in the NFL, so I think this pick is more for need for them. I looked at the grades, and he graded out so bad. So I love this pick for Miami Dolphins. Shore up that center, and Jason Kelce showed you the value of a really talented center. Boom. Jackson Powers Johnson to the Miami Dolphins. Then the Philadelphia Eagles are on the board. They're going to go defensive back. That secondary and safety position for the Birds last year was an abomination. Absolutely horrible. Bradbury is, I can't believe they haven't cut him yet. They owe him too much money, I guess. Slay's getting older. Bradbury is trash. Draft a corner. And that corner for the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be Terrion Arnold from Alabama. Next up, Houston Texans, one of my favorite teams going into this next year. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. 23 overall. I'm going with Dallas Turner, the edge defender from Alabama. Beef up that D-line. Because if they can have a good defense with C.J. Stroud as the quarterback, man, they're going to win a lot of games. Shore up that defense. Let C.J. Stroud does what he does. Man, he was so good on third down this year. It was unbelievable to watch. All right, up next is the Dallas Cowboys at 24. It looks like Tyron Smith is walking in free agency, so they're going to have to address the tackle position. I'm going with Amarius Mims, the tackle from Georgia, to go to the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys, especially that offensive line, is getting older. They need some youth at the offensive line position. And then the Green Bay Packers are up at number 25. That offense with Aaron Jones and Love is really starting to get some consistency there. I could see them going wide receiver like Brian Thomas Jr., or they could shore up that secondary a little bit. This is another team like the Lions. Their secondary is not very good. Let's pick the best safety in the country. Tyler Newman from Minnesota goes to the Green Bay Packers. Packers fans, let me know in the comments below you like that pick. Up next, we have the number 26 pick in the NFL Draft 2024, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike Evans is back. I'm assuming they're going to bring Baker Mayfield back. I think that's what's going to happen. So I want them to address a defensive player. And I think that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go with Jared Verse, the edge defender from Florida State. Arizona is up. This is their second first-round pick. You got the wide receiver. Now you got to protect Kyler Murray. Go with the best tackle available. It's either Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma or Graham Barton. I like Graham Barton. He's pretty balanced. He didn't really have a lot of turd games this year. He hasn't really played a full season, which concerns me a little bit, but I like Barton to get it done. Let's check out his specs a little bit. 6'5", 314. He's a senior, but he's only 21, so that's really good. He's got some time to grow a little bit. I like that pick there. Then the Buffalo Bills at 28. This is my guy, Brian Thomas Jr. Bring him in. Give Josh Allen some more weapons. The Bills did cut like 100,000 people on their defense, so they could go secondary linebacker or something like that late in the draft. But Brian Thomas Jr. is way too good to pass up. Add another element to that offense. If they can keep Diggs and Brian Thomas Jr. on the same team, woo, they're going to score some points. Also, I like Ladd McConkey. That is definitely a pick that the Bills can make if they want a slot receiver instead of a deep threat down the field. But Stephon Diggs seems a little unhappy in Buffalo sometimes, so maybe that's why I went with Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU. Next up, number 29, the Detroit Lions are on the clock, guys. Guard, center, D-line, cornerback. I mean, that offensive line was pretty damn good. We'll see how it shores up with free agency, but their offensive line was beast mode in that NFC Championship game against the 49ers. I don't know how the hell they blew that game. Dan Campbell, what the F, bro. But I like the Lions to go with the cornerback. Address that position of need. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a really, really good corner. Great pick falling to them at 29. Next up, with the number 30 pick in the NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens are on the clock. I like TJ Tampa, the cornerback from Iowa State. Shore up that defense a little bit more. The offense is going. They could go running back here, but I don't see a running back that stands out to me enough to make them a first-round pick. That's why I'm going with corner, because later in the draft, there's not a ton of defense later in the draft. That's why the Ravens go with TJ Tampa at number 30. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers on the clock. I think they could go with Zach Frazier, the center, but like Adonai Mitchell has a ton of talent. He runs great routes. Brandon Ayuk, I don't know how much longer he's going to be in San Francisco, if they're going to want to pay him all that money he's going to get in free agency. I like Adonai Mitchell to the 49ers at number 31. And then number 32, this guy falling to the Chiefs blows my absolute mind, because this dude has the best hands in the NFL draft, I think. Ladd McConkey, the slot receiver from Georgia. That's the way to do it. I'm going with Ladd McConkey for the Chiefs. Man, the Chiefs get even better with Rice and McConkey. Mahomes has got receivers again, and look for the Chiefs to make it back to the Super Bowl this year. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Leave me some comments below. Do you like my picks for your favorite team, or am I an absolute dipshit? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace. Let's go into the Chiefs, baby. See you later.